I don't know how you remove your captain, your best player. How can you remove Bruno? And I also think that he got it wrong with Maguire and Rashford. You have to start Garnacho with the impact he also had off the bench in the first game.
I think that Ten Hag made a lot of mistakes in this game. You signed a particular player, you start him.
Correct.
The reason you signed a particular player is because he's better than what you have
Correct.
at the moment.
Correct.
It was pure carnage, total chaos.
Yeah.
I think as a neutral, that would have been the best half of the season so far. I mean, it's a young season, but still, like
for both teams, in fact.
Yeah, like no, just for neutrals viewing because it was so
a beginner watching football. I think that is the game we should show them. Left-hand side defending was one of the worst I've ever seen in the Premier League. Like all credits to Madueke, those were amazing finishes.
Yeah.
But the amount of time that guy got on the ball, I don't know what Ait Nouri was on.
They were immensely lucky with Ollie Watkins and his 2 chances.
Yeah.
That first chance, you give it to him 9 more times and he's scoring all 9 of them.
Are Liverpool going to finish 9th? Are you still going to stick with that assumption, or are you going to...
I'm going to wait till they play a big boy. Till they play a big team.
Did you see Dermot Gallagher's...
That's what I was coming to. That was going to be my next point. What the hell are you thinking, you idiot? You idiot, you bastard. What the hell are you thinking when you're saying that it's not a red card? Bloody, he's just pulled him out.
To be honest,
he's taken him out. Like, it's nearly a WWE clothesline.
Welcome back to the Full-Time Ultras, and this is the weekly football podcast. It was another eventful week in the Premier League. Some big upsets, massive wins for some teams. We're here to decode and discuss what went through in the weekend. But before we start, we of course have to address a very tragic news that befell us today, and it was the passing of Sven-Göran Eriksson. He was battling with cancer for a long time, and today he finally lay rest. For those who do not know much about Sven-Göran Eriksson, he was one of those managers who was, we can say, a modern pioneer of the game. Most of his success came in between the period of 1977 and 2001, in which he won 18 trophies with a variety of league clubs. So he's coached in Sweden, Portugal, and Italy. He's won both the UEFA Cup and the European Cup Winners' Cup, and he was also the first non-English manager to coach the England team. So yeah, he's been battling this for a long time, and he's finally passed. And what a man! The way he also dealt with the sickness was amazing. The tribute that he got at Anfield, he couldn't have ended it better. And even his final heartfelt, like the post that he penned was really it was really touching. So condolences to his family. And it's always hard when you lose a great footballing person. And we wish his family all the best. And again, condolences. But we've got Aditya and we've got Raghav back. It's been a while since we've shot here.
Yep.
And let's get straight into it. I don't want to waste time. The biggest talking point which came was the first game. In fact, it was... as usual, United's... I'm going to start with you, Raghav. It was United's bogey team, whereas Brighton coming in and beating Manchester United again in the last minute. We faced this 2 seasons back as well, where we've lost to Brighton in the last minute of the game. Your basic thoughts about it?
I'm really confused because these 2 games, there have been positives, but I'm struggling to see the focal point. That focal point is really missing. And I think that Ten Hag got a lot of things wrong in this game. The fundamental thing he got wrong was that not starting Zirkzee for me, because the impact he had against Fulham, I think that was, he basically won us the game. And his general play, when he came on, there was something different about United in the last half hour that he came on. And Ten Hag should have recognized that is what is required. like I know that Mount is good at enabling the presses, and he's really energetic in doing that stuff. But you need to understand that apart from that, you also need goals. And Xerxes is that goal scorer. He is a goal scorer by all sorts. And even at Bologna, he's shown he's a poacher. He's a link-up player. He's a full package. And I think that Ten Hag got that right, and he even got his substitutes wrong. I don't know how you remove your captain, your best player. How can you remove Bruno? And I also think that he got it wrong with Maguire and Rashford. You have to start Garnacho with the impact he also had off the bench in the first game, and you had to remove Maguire. I can understand for the first game that De Ligt may have had only 3 days of training after joining from Bayern Munich, but he's had a full week of training. There's no reason why you couldn't have started him alongside Lisandro. So I think that the Ten Hag this is all on Ten Hag. This one.
I've been a very big advocate of Ten Hag, and I've said last season as well that he does need to, how last season ended, he did warrant another season. He did need another season to get. But I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not. I'm not going to look and say that you've made a mistake. I'm going to point it out, and even I agree with you, and I think that Ten Hag made a lot of mistakes in this game. The biggest mistake has been of Ten Hag. It's always been that you signed a particular player, you start him.
Correct.
The reason you signed a particular player is because he's better than what you have at the moment, right? You can, and he also did this thing 2 years back. I remember when we signed Casemiro 2 years back, and then McTominay was in the team, but Casemiro did not come straight into the team. So McTominay had two or three good odd games against Liverpool.
The City 6-3 banger.
And then
after that,
it takes Ten Hag to make a change after we lose, and that should not be a case. Right? Don't be reactive. Don't wait for trouble to come. Just put your best players in, and that was Fulham. You cannot be. If Maguire has been fucking up since a long time, and basing Maguire's stance in this team on the basis of Fulham does not warrant him that place. It does not, and De Ligt has to come into it. Xerxes, I understand he's been dealing with some fitness issues. Whatever said and done, he came in, it changed. But my massive issue is that I feel Bruno and Mount work. I felt that when Bruno and Mount were in midfield, there was something in that midfield. There was energy levels. Brighton couldn't get through the midfield. That's what I found. But for me, it's Rashford. This system does not work because of Rashford, because there's no energy levels up front. Your two up front have to be on their toes. And that completely showed when Garnacho came in. But when Garnacho came in, Mount was not there.
Exactly.
Right? It was that combination was not there, and it almost worked. He scored that goal for unfortunate circumstances that didn't go in, but lot of big issues. What did you make of the last minute equalizer?
The winner, you mean?
The winner. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, but it's so it's such a United thing, man. I mean, it's come off a corner. It's the defense is not organized. They've just it's a corner and it's a second ball. Adingra, it's gone out to Adingra, and he's just clipped a ball inside, and there are two players free at the back post. It's just pure chaos because Lisandro is going for the ball. Dalot is at right back. Mazraoui is behind Dalot for some reason.
Dalot forgot that he is playing left back. He was on the right wing.
So Mazraoui is standing behind Dalot. No, that's fine because you're defending a corner. There will be some positional changes for the momentary changes. If Dalot is at right back because he was defending at the far post, so Mazraoui should naturally he should go cover him at left back. He didn't do that. Lisandro was way too aggressive or maybe rash.
It's just
going for the ball.
It's basic schoolboy defending where everyone followed the ball.
Exactly.
Right.
So I feel
that everyone switched off for the second corner.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And also, it was Casemiro and McTominay that someone should see that in a professional game of football, you cannot leave two men on the back post.
Exactly.
You absolutely cannot do that.
I'm one more thing is that I don't see why that was not Casemiro, by the way, that was Delict.
No, but De Ligt was inside. So
No.
But
It was Dallo, it was Mazraoui, behind him
yeah,
was Delict.
but even Casemiro and McTominay, they were also towards that side, but they are also drawn towards the ball.
That's what and I also don't get this why Casemiro wasn't hooked off, because his legs were fading. I could see that from minute 70 maybe, that after 75 you could see he's just looking to go to the floor.
Yeah, because I think we don't have a suitable 6.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
that's what we are going to do now. We don't have a 6
Okay,
to replace him.
if we get Ugarte, I hope that we get Ugarte in the next 48 hours.
We will.
But I'm saying is that if you don't have a 6, you remove your 6 for someone else, but you don't keep Casemiro on when he's tired. You saw it after the minute 75, he's just sliding around like anything. He's like, he's just going to floor because he knows he can't run along the defender. So he's like, oh, I tried to tackle, but I couldn't get the ball and I couldn't get the man as well, and he beat me. That was his excuse. You can't let that happen. Just get McTominay on instead of Casemiro, and you'll have energy on the field, which will maybe orchestrate a counter attack. Who knows? If you pinch the ball of Brighton, you can have a counter attack with McTominay. And I still don't understand.
Biggest issue was me is removing Bruno.
Exactly.
You can't remove Bruno in a situation like that.
Especially
When you know that Brighton are on you towards the last 10
Exactly.
minutes on the transition. I think Bruno is probably the best player in the world on transition football. So I don't know why he was hooked, but anyway, I'll just get your thoughts on Brighton, because you've been talking a lot about Hustler coming in and doing a job. They were fantastic against Everton in their first game. What did you make of Brighton's performance in general against United?
I think they were pretty solid. They weren't. I don't think they had. I think United did have the better of the early exchanges, and as the game drew on, you'd probably have thought like 1-1's a fair result. A draw would have been a fair result in my opinion. Obviously, you talked about the Garnacho goal. That's very unfortunate. But
very unfortunate.
I think obviously he's a young coach. He's 31. I think 5 or 6 of his players are older than he is, and it's really nice to see. Like, he's the youngest permanent manager in the Premier League as well.
He wasn't even born when the Premier League started.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's incredible to see that someone of that age is already coaching at the highest level, and at a team like Brighton, which is probably where you'd expect some such people to turn up. But yeah, so far I've really liked what I've seen. I think he's smart, and also he's bold. His changes were actually quite
pretty
adventurous. They
attacking,
were aggressive, and like he got the benefit of it, and obviously he got the benefit of it also due to some appalling.
It's
defending.
basically that's been the issue with United, where I feel that United put the axe on their own feet rather than the teams like outplaying us. We tend to put the axe on our own feet in terms of our downfall. So I think also another thing with United is what I want to see is when that goal was disallowed, I want to see United go for it again.
Obviously.
Yes.
But in the last 2 years, I haven't seen United go for the kill. Push the opposition back. That does not happen. And I think that is something I need to see from this team, where there is this assertiveness that, let's go for the kill. Because any other of the top teams, if it's Arsenal, Liverpool, City, they do have spells where the other team is attacking them. But when they get a sniff of confidence that, something has been disallowed, but we're getting close, then they keep putting men forward. They keep pushing opponents back. And that's what I want to see from Manchester United. But Raghav, quickly before we move on to the next game, the knives already seem to have come out. Lot of ex-pundits and all of these some of them saying that Ten Hag won't last. Big odds on him being the first manager to be sacked as well. What is your general opinion on this?
Ridiculous. No, I have seen so many posts that Ten Hag in or out. I've seen so many posts that is Ten Hag running out of ideas at United? I mean, it's ridiculous, man. How can you say such things when it's just 2 games into the season, and our signings haven't clicked yet. We have a system in place. It's partly working, it's partly not. You have a whole season ahead of you. I don't know how these ex-pundits, I don't even trust 90% of these
Ex-players,
pundits.
you mean?
Yeah, ex-players.
Ex-players
sorry.
and pundits as
Ex-players
well.
and pundits.
Yeah.
I
Carragher,
don't
all of
even-
these guys.
Oh,
No,
Carragher is the worst
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
to take advice from.
No, I'm just saying overall. United
Yeah.
as well. And
His,
yeah.
I'll talk about him when we talk about Chelsea. His opinion, one of his opinions.
Yeah.
Mm.
But these pundits, 90% of them I don't trust. If Ian Ryder told this, maybe I had some food for thought. But any other guy is just ridiculous, and I don't think that Ten Hag is going anywhere. The team will click. I have a lot of optimism around this team. He just needs to tweak some things and take some bold decisions.
What needs to change here?
First of all, he needs to drop Rashford. Fundamental problem in this team is that Rashford, that left side, is dysfunctional because Ahmad is playing well.
Because that's what I told you. Garnacho coming on
Exactly.
changed. What he did in 20 minutes was more than what Rashford got in
And
60
Rashford
minutes.
hasn't registered a shot on goal or shot on target. There's some stat.
Yeah.
In the 2 games, he hasn't registered a shot on target.
Yeah.
And like this combination is working. But once Zirkzee comes in, maybe Mount goes off. I think Rashford needs to be dropped.
Yeah.
Ahmad was good in this game.
Very good.
Mazraoui was really good. He's been consistent in these 2 games. De Ligt has to come in. Come what may, Maguire has to go out. I think Dalot has been really, really good, even if he's playing at an unfavorable left back position.
Yes.
So I think these 2-3 changes, I think that we'll be good to go.
Yeah,
Speaking on like just the Maguire bit, how many times has he done that where he lets the ball just run across?
I'm not even
Just
because I remember yesterday.
It's so easy for him. It's so easy for him to do 2 things. One, head the ball out,
Yeah.
or put your body in front of the ball, chest it to Onana.
I mean,
Chesting is a bit more
I
challenging.
think
but
chesting
head it
would
out
have
of the
been
ball, or
challenging,
head it
yeah.
out of play.
Yeah.
at least poke
Head it out of play.
poke it out
put
for a
for the
corner.
Yeah, that's
And
so
then
easy.
I see him saying that I didn't get the call, but I'm like, boss, that's
if you
not
don't get the call, that's the
when you
first
do
thing
it.
you
that-
do.
That's when you do it.
exactly. That's what you have to do. Someone else is not going to say that boss
Exactly.
clear it, or
Yeah.
someone behind you is not going to say boss leave it.
I don't get that, man. I can't believe he was our captain for 4 years. I seriously can't believe.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, y'all seriously let yourselves down. Like, your attack, I mean, y'all created a few chances, maybe
Yeah.
unfortunate not to, but your defense is what really let you down. And,
Yeah.
like, you know.
That's
you
why
have
we've signed like
one word to describe your defending is,
No
I don't know if you
vibes.
can read this, but it says vibes.
Yeah. It's surprising, because we have invested
Exactly.
so much
Yeah, exactly.
money into the defense. So yeah, I think hopefully we can get that sorted and we can get the players coming into the team. But anyway, I think we'll move on to the next fixture with that, and we'll focus our attention to a team who a lot of pundits also had their knives out for, but it was one of the most entertaining games of the weekend. A total of 8 goals. At halftime, it was 4 goals, but eventually the game ended in favor of Chelsea. As a neutral, it was an absolute brilliant game to watch, Aditya. What did you make of that game?
The first half was pure carnage, total chaos.
Yeah.
I think as a neutral, that would have been the best half of the season so far. I mean, it's a young season, but still, like,
For
it was-
both teams, in fact.
Yeah, like no, just for neutrals viewing because it was so
A beginner watching football, I think that is the game we
Yeah.
should show
It was
them.
It was more like basketball because attack. There's nothing going on in midfield. Teams that are trying to keep for example, Chelsea lost the ball a lot in that mid. Like Caicedo was really bad in that first half,
Yeah.
losing the ball again for the first equalizer as well.
Mm.
So it was pure entertainment from the neutral standpoint. Maresca would have hated that half because
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you.
because
Yeah, I'll come back to that.
okay,
Yeah.
because he the thing is, Chelsea looked very good going forward, but then also the transition is where we had a lot of issues,
Exactly.
and that seems to be a problem that's been inherited from last season because Pochettino also struggled a lot with it. And the other thing was just cheaply giving the ball away so many times when all you needed to do was keep your composure and play a safe pass or just keep the ball.
Yeah.
You don't have to get swept away in the flow of the game and try to just go attack because Wolves are also dangerous as a team, and if you give them the chances, they will also capitalize. And it was very clear in that first half that Wolves, as soon as they saw that yes, Chelsea are doing this, we can get at them.
Exactly.
They just went with it. They were like, yeah, we're going to attack as well.
Because I think this is an approach that worked very well in this game.
Yes.
Right? It's an approach that I think Chelsea took, and they were like, yeah, we'd go with it, because they went with a pivot play with Enzo and Caicedo.
Yeah,
right?
And Enzo steps up.
Yeah, so they didn't go with that third, that third holding midfielder.
Yeah.
Right? So I felt that left them a little bit more vulnerable through the center.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Because I think one of our friends made a comment on the group saying that the cons weigh more heavily than the pros when Caicedo and Enzo play as a pivot, when they have no one to support them. Because Ait Nouri just running past that midfield was completely like, and I think Chelsea were very, very fortunate that it was against a team like Wolves, because if it was a little bit of a better attack, I think this game could have been anything. It could have been 5-5, it could have been 6-6, it could have been anything, because even later on Wolves did have the chances. But when you were talking about control, right? Surely Maresca would have looked at this game overall and he would have been like, this is not how I want to play the game of football, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think at halftime, I'm pretty sure some of the players got the hair dry treatment, because he was quite, even in his post-match press conference, he was like, the first half of football was not absolutely not how he wanted to play. The second half was a lot better, because in the second half we were making better decisions on the ball. It was a bit safer passing while retaining the fluidity in attack. And obviously we were helped by, I don't know what exactly went through Gary O'Neill's mind, but it seemed like Wolves were like, okay, this approach has worked in the first half, we're going to continue doing it in the second half. But then in the second half, they were, trying to, attack really and press really high. But we were playing through them a lot better, and their midfield was basically non-existent.
More than the midfield, I also felt that their left-hand side defending was one of the worst I've ever seen in the Premier League. Like, all credits to Madueke, those were amazing finishes.
Yeah.
But the amount of time that guy got on the ball, I don't know what Ait Nouri was on. Maybe he might have chucked a quarter or something and came on the field. But the amount of time that Madueke got. First goal, I understand. You get it. You made a mistake.
Yeah.
But to allow him to do
the
two things again, I was basically talking to someone on the phone, and my attention was on the phone on, and I was like, is this a replay? Are they showing the goal again? And then I see the score change. I'm like, what the hell? Is the exact same goal I've seen the same time? And it was so shoddy from Wolves. And I think Gary O'Neill also accepted that, saying that it should not happen. But overall, in general, you might have been really happy, because last time it was not a happy hunting ground, the Molineux playing for Chelsea. But overall, you might have been happy.
Yeah, I mean, overall, quite happy. I'm glad that we're freely scoring goals.
Yeah.
And that's always a plus. And I think we did iron out a few issues towards, in that second half, in terms of controlling the game better. I think it's... it's obviously we are obviously going to have issues, and I don't expect this to continue. I don't think we'll play this way consistently in the next 2 months. I think we'll have a bit of, because it's a new coach, it's an entirely new system, and we're going to see hiccups like we saw in the first half, and maybe some better teams will capitalize on it better. So I'm not going to be on the back of that, we're going to challenge for the title, or top 4 is guaranteed, because I don't think we're there yet, and that first half is a very big indication of that. But it's better than what I expected, to be very honest. I thought we would struggle.
Attacking wise, you'll look good.
Yeah, it was very flowing, and even with the changes, when Pedro Neto came on and when João Felix came on, it was still flowing so well, and it was very encouraging to see. And I think we're further ahead than I thought we would be. But obviously, as ever, the message is
Every game in the Premier League is a different game.
it's a
though,
different game. Every game is difficult, and patience is necessary, especially from a fan base that is really, really toxic. So
Raghav, you were saying something about Carragher.
Oh yeah, it's just a funny thing that he was commenting on Chelsea signings, and he's saying that it's not even related to anything that we're discussing here, but
Yeah.
he was like, you talk about they signed
yeah,
Felix.
yeah.
So he was like, you're asking where Felix will play.
Mhm.
He's asking that where will Felix change in the Chelsea training ground.
Yeah.
So like it's in reference to what he said about United, and like when he's making such useless comments and he's taking out such useless topics to talk about, if you can't rely on such people's comments. That's what. So it's related.
But that's
Uh,
the thing is like, Joao Felix comes, scores, and then shuts him
That's
up. So
what.
that's the basic thing players need to do because
That's Madueke. What Madueke did was even better.
yeah. But yeah, Madueke like shut up his own fans. There's a big ongoing thing that happened where he by mistakenly
Yeah.
put a
That's
post.
what I was saying. That's what I was
Yeah.
saying.
That I was just trying to explain to the viewers what the whole crux of the information is if they did not know. But it's, normally players do tend to struggle in that moment where,
Yeah.
the crowd is behind your back. He was constantly being booed. And it was just one of those instances where everything went in his favor. And so after that, the crowd just shuts up because it's 1, 2, 3 back-to-back goals. And he
He
gets
got
the
lucky.
last laugh.
I disagree with that because from minute one he was showing a lot of intent.
He was showing a lot of intent, but that defending was really shoddy.
The defending shoddy, but
a better
also,
left back, he would have had maybe
but
one goal,
the thing is, Ait Nouri one.
not a hat trick.
No, Ait Nouri one is an offensive fullback.
They
and
were
two,
playing a back three or a four.
four.
Wolves?
They were playing a 4, and
God, Ait Nouri, I don't know where he
Ait
was.
Nouri. The thing is, he got a yellow card in that first half, and then he was very lucky not to see a second yellow for a tackle from behind. Like he kind of stops a counter attack, and he's very lucky not to see a second yellow. So after that, he basically can't. He basically can't
touch.
tackle. He can't tackle, and especially in the box, he can't tackle. So I would yes, to an extent, yes, you do need a bit of luck to score a hat trick, especially one in 14 minutes. But I disagree that it's not entirely luck, and he showed a lot of intent, even like especially.
Yeah, in general, like I was pleasantly surprised at how he played,
Yeah,
because last season also he was good, but I wasn't sure how Madueke
he
will
is
turn out.
talented as a
He is
player.
talented,
no, towards
but
the
the
end
amount
of
of towards the end of the season he was
He
good.
really came on to like
Yeah, he came out
he
to, but
started. I think he played
In the
all of
start,
those
he
games.
wasn't in.
There were some
He wasn't
issues
showing
with
up.
Poch as well in terms of his training, like
No,
how
in
he
the start,
trained
in the
and
start.
everything.
So early on, he I think he went to a nightclub or something.
Yeah,
There was
exactly.
something like that.
That's what.
Also, his
um,
training levels, Poch said, were low.
So,
So
in the start, he
I
challenged
remember
his
that.
attitude and his
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
Yes.
He showed up, and in the end, he played a
He
pivotal
played
role.
like I think all of those last.
So
12
he's
games in
now
which he didn't.
basically, I feel he's just pushed Nkunku to the bench.
That's
Yeah, maybe.
now
Yeah.
I don't know where we go from here because
Exactly.
you got even Pedro Neto was quite good.
Even Joao Felix.
Joao
Yeah.
Felix, I mean Felix slightly smaller sample size, but
But considering that he was on loan,
of
he
course.
played for y'all, and he
But-
did pretty decent. For me, he played decent
yeah.
in that 6-month period. I think it's just resuming the clock.
No,
You can't say that. With
you
Chelsea.
can't really do that, but like you can't say that with with any player, to be honest. And what Felix did was in a very short period of time. He showed a lot of intent. I will give him that.
That's what.
But I
A
think
suitability to the Premier League.
yes, but he will have to play a bit more. Like I think we'll see more of him from the bench to start with
Yeah.
before he like really cements his place like as a regular player.
That's my question. How do you cement a place in this team, except when you're Palmer? Because
Yeah, I
last season he was so good that you just can't remove a player like that,
think. Yeah, I mean
because the player like
He's
32
the
goals and
talisman,
assists,
basically.
32 goals and assists last
33.
season. You can't remove such a player. 30?
3.
33. So Palmer, like one place gone. So you're basically fighting for 3 spots in attack.
Yeah.
And
And
that
you've
also
got-
depends on whether he's using an extra midfielder.
Yes.
Exactly. So if you remove that pivot, if you take a deep mid-lying midfielder extra, you lose another spot in attack.
Yeah.
So it's basically Pedro Neto, Joao Felix, Naudi Madueke, Nkunku, Nicholas Jackson, Who else?
One more striker they might sign.
Yeah, we might.
You might sign one more striker. 6 players for 2 positions,
Mudryk.
basically 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Mudryk.
Mudryk was hooked at halftime. It was horrible.
Yeah.
So like this is the this seems to be the problem which might implode in the near future if
Maresca will need to manage it
Yeah,
very
for
well.
sure.
Very
Because
well. He
it
needs
could
to
also
manage very
that's the issue. It could also go the other way
Yes, it could.
because these are egos as well. Nkunku, Neto. It's not like you have these basic youngsters and then you
Yes.
have the main squad, but all of these players are established
Yeah.
national team first team players. So it depends. Like I know there are a lot of games that you guys have to play.
Yeah, that's
And
the
every
kind of
team,
saving
every
grace.
manager now wants to win every game, every pathway to a trophy, to get the get the burden off a little bit. So yeah, that is how that's what happened with Chelsea. It was in the end a very clinical win. They needed to get the points, they needed to get the win, and they did it. Now we'll switch our attentions to probably the biggest game on paper
Yeah.
of the week, and it was Aston Villa against Arsenal. A lot of us going in thinking that it's also not been a very happy hunting ground for Arsenal playing at Villa Park, but Arsenal just go in and then they show that why a lot of people have predicted them to win this title, because last season they were totally in some aspects of the game outplayed, but they go in and they put in a very professional and a very clinical performance. I start with you.
Yeah.
What did you make of the whole game and their approach?
Arsenal, I think these are the type of games you have to win if you want to. These are the games that they lost last season.
Yeah.
So first of all, I do want to say they were immensely lucky with Ollie Watkins and his 2 chances.
Yeah.
That first chance, you give it to him 9 more times and
He
he's
scores.
scoring all 9 of them, because that is
That's just basic lack of preseason and game time.
it's incredible. I was shocked at him. I was like, I almost turned away from the TV, like, okay, fine, he's going to score, and then he's put it wide. I don't know how he did that. And the second one, it's an incredible save from Raya. I have to give him a lot of credit. He was lying down inside his goal. He gets up somehow and puts his hand out and saves it. What a save! But he should not have had a chance at that. He has no right to
He's done
save
it 2 in a row.
Yeah,
Even
Yeah.
last week,
the
he
first
made
one
an
was good, but
incredible
this
save.
one
Stan Larson.
This was
on a completely
like
different level.
next level.
But as from Watkins' perspective, he has to put that higher. He has to put that more in the corner. He has to score there.
I mean, you can't. I don't think that Shahan can say it's a lack of preseason, because this is basic striker number. If you're a number 9, your bread and butter are these chances.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
live
I
on
think-
these chances, but it can't be 9 on 10 as well, because you can say 9 on 10 for chances which are like a tough over the head ball, like you can't control. It's difficult to control. But these 2 chances are like, you put a striker, you put the legends of the game, you put Ruud van Nistelrooy, you put Ian Wright in these situations, they're gonna score. You can turn away from the TV 100%
Yeah.
confidence, and you will see the score change.
Yeah, it's true.
So like this was such a basic chance, and I like there can't be zero excuses that lack of preseason. 9 out of 10, like he just has to score.
I
that.
think the first one you can
these
slightly
chances.
forgive. I think the first one you can slightly forgive. I'm not going to make too much of an excuse for him.
It's not like it's such a like they've basically suffocated Arsenal with the press. They've pinched the ball outside Arsenal's area, and Morgan Rogers has just set up the chance. He just has to place it into the corner, into the goal, and even Raya had no chance.
Yeah, he was out
If
of
it
the
was
picture,
on
yeah.
target, Raya had no chance.
No keeper
Even-
in the
even-
world has a
exactly.
chance.
Yeah, yeah.
You
No-
just
no
have to stand
keepers.
and look that it goes into
And
the net.
Raya, like maybe his prayers were answered in that chance. He was like praying, please, please, please. So I think that that's what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely should score. But then again,
Coming to
back your,
Arsenal's, yeah.
question, barring that fairly solid performance and
In an away game, though, you'd
you need,
expect those chances to go up
exactly.
against you.
Yes.
But it's luck. You have to prevail. You
Yeah,
have
of
to,
course.
because those chances came only. You have to also go and win.
Yeah,
That's the other thing.
yeah.
Because chances like that can also get Villa Park on the back, and then
Correct.
it's game. Like
Right.
they're gonna keep supporting you, and then that's what you don't want. So I
Yes.
think Arsenal managed the game very well as
Yep.
well in taking out that sting
Correct.
from Villa Park.
Yeah.
You were saying.
I agree with you completely, and I think it's one of those games where it doesn't matter really how you play or what you do. It's about getting the job done, and like fair play to them. They got it done, and I think that's these are the places where they lost points last season. And the season before last, they lost a lot more points. But you can see this side growing in maturity
Yeah.
year on year, and that's one of the main reasons I feel like this can finally be the time they do it. So yeah, all the credit in the world to them.
And another clean sheet as
yeah,
well.
exactly. They've kept 2 clean sheets, and they've navigated 2. Like even the first game was not like straightforward, so they've navigated 2 kind of tricky games, and they've got 6 points on the board.
Yeah, and beating Villa at Villa Park is always a very
It's a
it's
good
big 3 points.
Yes.
It's towards the end of the season when
Exactly.
you look and when you're going and when you're bidding for the title, even towards the end stages, because Villa are going to get better. A lot of the top
Exactly.
teams are going to struggle. Surely City and Arsenal, City and Liverpool are going to struggle over there. That's what I feel. Villa will improve, but you never know. Maybe it could be one of those seasons where Villa are horrible.
Yeah.
But Villa Park is generally a tough place to go and play at. Your general thoughts on Arsenal?
I think they were solid. I think they the second half was better than the first. The decision making in the first half, like the final pass, I don't feel like it was there. Emi Martinez made a couple of I think he made a really good save out of Saka. That
Yes.
yeah, that
Yeah, that was amazing.
I mean,
got overshadowed by
I
the
was
Villa
watching
one,
the
yeah.
game and I was like, okay. When Saka took the shot, I was like, okay, goal. Then I see it going wide. I said, did he miss?
Yeah.
Then the replay showed that Martinez got a hand to it. I was like, what a save. That was incredible. And apart from that, Arsenal's decision making in the final third was a bit shady. Martinelli looked... When Trossard came on, I think Arsenal got a bit better.
I mean,
because-
as soon as he came on, they scored. He
Exactly.
scored. He
That's what.
scored.
Like after that, in general, they got better. But Martinelli looked a bit...
Yes, he
Like
did.
he looked a bit indecisive and maybe to go on the outside, maybe to come inside. So yeah, second half they got better and they got the 3 points. And yeah, of course, I won't go there, but as we've discussed it, but they got lucky.
Anyway, we'll move on. We'll quickly move on to the other 2 teams who could be genuine title contenders. It's Manchester City and Liverpool. We'll talk about these 2 teams in brief. Manchester City, right? Ipswich take that shock lead, right? Another, I don't know what Ederson's doing over there. It's just basic Ederson things. But Ipswich take a shock lead and everyone is behind them and they're like, wow, Ipswich. And then in the space of 3 minutes, gone. It's like quiet. What was that first 20 minutes, Raghav?
It was just pure chaos. It was just an Ipswich team, a fearless Ipswich team, who were like this is another one of the big boys we're traveling to a big boy after like is this their first time in the Premier League?
2000, since 2002.
Yeah, it's
2001,
our first travel
2001,
to a
yeah.
big boy in like 20 odd years. Like we'll just go and play fearlessly. They did that and they got the lead. And after that, it was just City being City. They took it to their ego that
The mistake was pretty
how
bad.
the
as
hell
well.
how the hell has he scored?
Murich's mistake was horrible for
Oh, yeah, it was,
that
but
goal.
That's what, like, they are a champion team and they wouldn't mind. Haaland got a hat-trick, stat padder. But
Rest in
sorry.
peace to all the fantasy
Oh yeah.
teams who went without Haaland. And kudos to the captains who went and triple captain him.
yeah.
Because a lot of just FPL chat, but a lot of managers were they're like, we are very conservative. We'd only use a triple captain in a double game week. But actually they used them. They got
A
I
Yeah,
think
massive
money
this
is
year
reward.
worth.
it'll be a bit less because FA Cup
you
has
will have double game weeks.
designated
But
cup weekends.
yeah, but you will have
Like
one or two.
Yeah. Especially the big boys who will go deeper into the FA Cup.
Yeah, maybe.
You will have that.
like
No,
that
I think
34
even
will
they
be.
have designated, the FA Cup has designated cup weekends without Premier League games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
you
then-
will have more.
You'll
Okay.
You will tend to have more. You will have, sorry,
At least
more
two or
I
three.
mean lesser than what was it
At
last
least
year?
two
Two,
or
I
three,
think
yeah.
they're
Yeah,
predicting
I
at
think
least two you're
quarter
going
semi
to
by
get.
that
That's
point.
Yeah.
Most of the PL teams, like a lot of the PL teams will also be out
Yeah.
of the
And he
competition.
could have had more as well in that game. Like they hit the post also because the starting how that game went, I thought it could be another record break.
Oh yeah, of course.
I thought,
Rico Lewis missed a really good chance.
yeah.
and-
So Ipswich keeping the score to 4-1 in the end was
No,
I
think
feel
that
was
they-
a big
they-
achievement for them.
They're just adapting to the Premier League still, because once you take the lead and you're at a City or you're at Anfield, you would rather play on the transition, and they were still looking to attack. They were looking to build on, which is not bad, but with a team like City who are so well drilled, who are so into like they can hurt you at the smallest of mistakes.
Yeah.
You have to get a bit defensive and
Yeah.
play on the transition. A team like Ipswich, no disrespect,
Yeah.
but they've just promoted.
You have to
and
be
they are still
defensively
adapting
solid.
Exactly.
Because see, against what I've always maintained that I think Riku was there at home when we were watching that game. Against City, you will always get chances.
Exactly.
They are always going to give you chances.
Exactly.
But the thing is how good your defense is to stop them. Because if you have a defense good enough to get them frustrated, you'll get the chances and then
Exactly.
you can go and win
Exactly.
against City.
That's what.
So I think teams need to look at that and they need to be, especially if you go a goal ahead, you have to shut up shop. Because if you go chasing for the second goal and if you're going to make mistakes, then
They'll hit you
they're
on the run. They'll hit
they're
you.
absolutely going to punish you.
That's what happened.
Exactly. The other team who kept
Yeah.
their run going, so the three contenders, all winning their first two games. Liverpool also doing it. Lot of one guy sitting here went with his
Yeah.
prediction. I'm going to come to him and I'm going to ask him later. But what did you make of their performance? It was very controlled,
Yes.
very systematic as to how they got their result.
Yeah, it was, and I think Brentford had chances on set pieces, and they're usually good at them. But ironically, Liverpool get there first from a Brentford corner, and it's one of the best counter-attacking goals I've seen in a while because it was just a two-man charge, and wow, like what a pass to find Diaz. It went through the legs of a defender, and a composed finish. And I think Arne Slot ball is actually, not half bad. They're looking good. There's another chance where Gravenberch has a chance to release Diaz, where he underhits that pass. And anything that isn't short, Diaz is through on goal because he's behind half, and he has the entire the rest of the pitch left for himself. There's three Brentford defenders who are maybe 10-15 meters away from him. So he's got all the speed in the world and all the time in the world to just, carry that ball up. So Gravenberch would be very furious about under-hitting that at a moment where even a overhit pass would have worked. Then, even the second half, Liverpool, there was a really, really crisp move where Salah plays a couple of 1-2s and then there's he passes into someone who passes to Szoboszlai and Szoboszlai passes into Salah. It's very slick one-touch football and it's just poked out for a corner at the very end. So I'm enjoying watching Liverpool play. And are we thinking they're contenders?
No, I wanted to
Yeah,
switch
well,
the question on to you. Are Liverpool going to finish 9th? Are you still going to stick with that assumption, or are you going to?
I'm gonna wait till they play a big boy. Till they play a big team.
Next
Do
week?
you
Next
count
week.
yourself in big teams?
Yeah. Ideally we should be, provided that Ten Hag has the balls to drop Rashford and Maguire. We are a big team.
Liverpool
With the
didn't beat us
personnel.
last season though,
That's true.
We had 2 draws.
Yeah.
and a win,
One an entertaining and
and a win.
And a
And a
win in
win.
the FA
Yeah.
Cup
Yeah.
one of the best
quarterfinal.
games
Yeah.
I've watched.
But yeah, you're going to
Probably
wait till. So
Probably
wait,
the
wait.
last game you watched.
But now you're saying Liverpool are not going to finish 9th.
I probably underestimated them a lot because they've slotted in really well into this philosophy, and but I still don't see them finishing top 4 because there will be challenges, and this team, I'll wait for Christmas, man, because I'll wait for Christmas because that congestion when it comes in, and Liverpool are not a very deep squad.
Yeah.
They,
Not much
think
days
Aditya-
left in the transfer window as well.
exactly, and Aditya has pointed out, and they've gone on and signed a goalkeeper. Like,
That's not even coming to them this year.
I do get that signing, because Mamadashvili is he is rated, and I think if they wait waited for maybe next summer, I think someone would have snapped him up. So I get it. The fact that they can sign him and loan him out,
But the thing is that
How many years will you do it for?
That's what,
Aditya,
like-
no, but then you can also sell him for a profit, and that's also
so if
they
you
can
so
get.
that means it's just an investment.
It
then.
could be an investment. It could also
so
be
you're
a long-term
talking about a
solution.
commercial deal with a player
Because
like Mohamed
we
Ashley.
all know that two first team goalkeepers
course
do
not.
not work.
And
You
Alisson-
have to
Alisson-
have a
Hello, Arsenal.
designated number 2.
Yeah, I mean Ramsdale's a designated number. The only reason Ramsdale I think stayed at Arsenal last season.
lack of options.
Lack of, like, I think initially he thought he might be able to fight for his place, and then they did kind of need someone to fill in for Raya against Brentford. But I think I don't think this is a terrible signing by any means. I think
Yeah. Basically, it's an investment.
it's an investment. He's a very good goalkeeper as well. So whatever happens, they're going to benefit from whatever happens next. So it makes sense from that perspective. But
Just a little bit shocking considering they haven't spent 30
Yes.
million for something that they need now.
yeah, of course.
I
And
think
because
they
see,
need
I
a
feel
midfielder.
whatever like
They're not a midfielder,
And a
but
centre back.
you
a centre back.
do have you will get a lot of goalkeeping options. If you miss out on someone like him, it's not like the end of the world.
No, it's not. Yeah.
That's why Liverpool fans are like, we need that 30 odd million euro signing in this team now.
yeah.
They might eventually sign. I feel they are going to make signings in
for
the
sure.
end. They are going to do something, but it was needed now. Because you will get keepers to. Some Pokemon will pop up and they'd be like, yeah, this is the next generational guy, and you'll eventually going to get someone. But anyway, we'll see what Liverpool have to do and what a lot of teams have to do towards the end of the transfer window. I think there are going to be some shock deals, but another team, just in brief, I want to talk about is Tottenham getting their job done against Everton. No one expected Everton to get something from that game, but they were whitewashed. Good overall performance from Tottenham.
Yeah, I suppose they're. I mean, they kind of what you expect from Spurs. Like it's fairly straightforward. You've got. I mean, like I kind of do expect them to do better than last season, obviously, and they have continuity, as I said. So I don't think. I mean, these are the games you expect them to win, and Everton. I don't know. I
want to ask you about Everton. That's what.
Yeah, I'm
what do we make of them? Because
slightly
they've
worried about
looked
them, yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
There was this clip that got leaked on or released on Twitter where these guys are walking on towards the train and the fans are just hurling abuses at them completely. At the players. You didn't catch that clip?
No, I don't know. I missed
Haven't?
No.
And Mope went back and Mope abused them again.
Of course.
So it was it was a horrible
you
clip
can count
because
on,
these guys were the scouse were like scousing with their cringe voices. They were absolutely getting at them, and I can understand that because 2 games you've conceded 7 goals in 2 games.
No, Everton look doomed.
I worry for them too.
Everton are
I want to ask you all that
No, they're
you
doomed.
see there are some teams which do look like really it's going to be worrying for them. What's going to happen with Ipswich? Do they have enough quality to stay? Southampton, decentish result, not the best. You have Leicester with the points reduction looming around. They got a good start against Spurs, but again they lost. You think Everton can again survive this, or it's going to the same thing? It's going to look bad because if you see Southampton, Ipswich, and Leicester are all making signings.
Yes.
They are signing players, but when I look at that Everton team, it just looks worse without Branthwaite as well.
No, I think that Everton. This is the season. This is their last straw. Like what do you say? This is the final nail in their coffin. They're not going to survive this.
Sean Dyche the savior again.
I mean, it's going to go down to the wire. I think.
Them surviving last season itself was a big.
I mean, they've been
big boom because of even with the points deduction.
Yeah, but they were if they didn't get the points last, they were very
they
clear.
were very good last season.
They were good last season. There was that spell where they won, and towards the end as well.
Yeah, that's what. So even if they hadn't got the points deduction, they would have been in the top half or something. Like that was
no 12th, I think.
12th. Yeah, around
12th, 11th, 12th. Yes.
Yeah, they would have been very close to the top half.
Yeah.
So they were like
but
very
I think
good
they've
in
gone
some
bad.
spells.
They've not.
They
improved.
haven't made any
They've not
progression in
improved.
the
No,
team.
they've
The
not.
signings have not been there because
Yep.
Amadou Onana going out
Yeah,
was.
big loss.
I know he
Big,
didn't
big
play
loss.
that much for them towards the end, but
But
that
he was
much
the
money.
main guy.
No, he didn't play towards the
Amadou
end.
Onana.
No, like
He
towards
was
the
not
end.
playing towards the end.
But the thing is, you lose.
Yeah, but
You've lost a
you've
player with some really good talent. And
exactly,
caliber.
and you've got 60 million in.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
use that
where's the money,
Yeah.
right? Because if in this day and age you're playing a 39-year-old Ashley Young at right back, it's not going
so
to
young
work.
anymore.
You're asking exactly. You're asking for trouble to, come, and you're just saying that, ha, bhai. And the irony is like the person who you're replacing Ashley Young with is Seamus Coleman, who's 36 years old. So I'm like, if that does not speak trouble, then what is trouble? What is trouble? So I
Young
don't
and
know
younger.
what Everton are up to. They are about to also move to their new stadium
Yeah.
in the mid of this season. So it's going to be very, very. I don't know how they're going to turn it. They do need to get fresh faces, I feel, inside.
No, I don't think they're getting any signings.
I don't know.
I don't see anyone linked to Everton, or rather, I read a very ridiculous transfer rumor that DCL might be going to Chelsea because he's an alternative to Osimhen.
Man.
Oh yeah.
That's why I said ridiculous. Because
Or maybe a
Alternative, or like is another candidate for the hospital, basically.
no, he's Reece James'
Yeah,
mate for the
exactly.
hospital. So he's
Reece
just
James
like
is getting lonely there.
just to keep the beds full in
Yeah,
Chelsea's physio room. But I'd like to end this week's podcast
Is
by
Reece James married to the physiotherapist? Like, I mean,
फालतू बातें छोड़ते हैं. What I'm saying is that I want to end this week's podcast by looking at some of the horrid decisions that went through in this game week. One stands out easily is the Joelinton one.
Yeah.
Take it away. What did you make of that?
Please, you wanted to speak about
this. What is VAR? Where is VAR? Why is VAR? How is VAR? क्या मतलब है VAR का?
Did you see Dermot Gallagher's?
That's what I was coming to.
my
That was going to be my
God.
next point. What the hell are you thinking, you idiot? You idiot, you bastard. What the hell are you thinking when you're saying that it's not a red card? Bloody, he's just
I mean,
pulled him out.
To be honest, he
He's
does.
taken him out like it's nearly a WWE clothesline.
He says something like there's no intent. He
He-
just
yeah,
wants to
he's-
stop
he
the
He just
counter
wants to
attack.
stop the keeper from releasing the ball. I mean, that's a yellow card. That's
No.
basically what everyone does. But they block. They don't give a WWE
By the
clothesline.
throat.
Yeah, his explanation was that
He didn't get him to the throat. He got him to the chest.
It was the upper chest area was one of the things he said, and the second thing was that the first thing he noticed was that the intent is to stop him from releasing the ball. I mean, you can do that by 2-footing the keeper from behind. Is
Yeah.
that not a red?
Exactly. That's not.
Or you
intent.
can just pull his shirt.
Oh yeah, like no, like, that's the thing. So like,
Exactly.
where do you draw the line? If the intent is just to prevent him from releasing,
Yeah.
you can just club him over the head with a bat or something, and that's still a yellow card. It's ridiculous.
I mean,
It's really.
so,
I'm
and it's always
shocked.
Joelinton and Bruno Guimaraes.
They
who
get away with a
it.
lot.
Every time they get away with a
they
lot.
get away with a lot. Even last time in that Arsenal game,
I
Was-
think this
Yeah,
this
it was
Newcastle
Guimaraes that time.
it was
this
horrible.
Newcastle team in general, they have a lot of rascals in their team.
Yeah, it's
Fabian Schär
it's
is
really
is-
really
is,
bad.
one
Really
of them.
bad. The two.
Guimaraes is one. Joelinton is one. You see, who's that other guy? I forgot his name.
Anthony Gordon is a shithouse as well.
He is, but these three pop up into my mind who get away with a lot, and this has to be.
Anthony Gordon had 10 yellow cards last season.
No, really?
Yeah.
How many were for dissent? I just want to
Not
know.
dissent. I think they were
Just
like
for-
those
for like
horrible fouls.
I also want to see how many yellow cards Joelinton gets for dissent, because he gets into the face of the referee a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not
Face
supposed
and this I don't know, man. Like I keep bringing down that
If
if you are
Guimaraes can get away with MMA, then this is just
yeah, because if
That's illegal
that's
in
the
MMA
thing. If
actually.
I remember Dermot Gallagher, bringing in like his big analysis saying as to why Casemiro's thing on this was a red
Yeah.
card.
Ayu. Yeah.
And I'm like, if that is a red card, which it is, how can you defend this? Just because the referee on the field did not deem it as a red card, that means it's your job to say that, I'm going to back my mate, I'm going to back my my colleague and be like, oh, that I'm going to find a reason how to not make this a red card. And it does not add up, boss. It just does not add up.
Yeah, to an extent, I get what his job is, which is to explain what a ref might be thinking. But there's a difference between saying like, I think this is what the ref thought versus
yeah,
this is what I am saying.
What I would have done exactly, because you're the pundit.
Rubbish.
That's what we want as fans to hear, that you bloody accept your mistake, and we as fans will be fine. That like there is some sense. Because if you guys are deeming that as not a foul, then I'm really worried. I was always worried with the refereeing standards in this league. But if Dermot Gallagher saying that this is not a red, I'm really worried. Because bhai kal to maar dega field pe koi, bolega, bro, that was accidental death, yellow card.
Is he dead? No. Play on.
The death was accidental, but yellow card. If only he used a machete over there, then I can give a red card. But this was just like a clock on the neck.
He's still in one piece.
Yeah, this was just a clock on the neck. It just got the jugular a little bit. So accidental haath lag gaya, bro. So that's a yellow card.
My
but
God. Week 2 and we've already had
exactly.
our first
Week
segment
2.
about VAR.
Exactly. So yeah.
And we thought VAR is improving.
But yeah, with that we've come to the end of the show. Like Aditya said, this is just week 2. I don't know what the other 36 weeks have in store for us. But we're going to be here weekly to discuss everything that went on in the previous Premier League week. So do stick with us. The giveaway is still live. The days are, they're running out for you to get into the competition. So do head on to our Instagram page. The links are in the description below. One of the criteria is for you to like the videos and to also subscribe to the channel. So do that. And let us know what you also think in the comments below. Get the interaction going. And a lot of big games to look forward to into the coming weekend. Liverpool and Manchester United. We'd be there to give our instant reaction for that game. So do watch out for that. Turn the notification bell on so that you know when our videos drop. Yeah, and with that, we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.